For faculty that are planning to teach in a truly pure online format where you won't possibly be meeting your students face-to-face all semester, I initially had to ponder how we would work RavelUnravel into that conversation, also without my ability to see them. So I am truly a believer that for online education, you can do the same things you do in an on-campus forum. You just have to do it differently. So I met with some colleagues and we really thought through how can we do this, and we talked with the Project Interfaith, RavelUnravel staff, and to make sure we were okay, copyright reasons, etc., of using logos and pictures. And basically we loaded into a threaded discussion format in our online forum. I divided each of my classes into groups. The group sizes were about 5 to 8, and they stayed with those groups through the entire RavelUnravel discussion time over the weeks. We divided the themes up into one theme per week, and we actually used 2 weeks to do the introduction. Because we didn't have the advantage of face-to-face collaboration and doing some of those nonverbals, we used 2 weeks. The first week was really, hey, this is an idea. This is what we're going to explore. Let's ponder this. And we sent them to the RavelUnravel website, and we had them, we kind of did teasers. This is what we're thinking and why we think it fits the class. The next week we did another introductory week and said, okay, here's your small group. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk ground rules if we were going to talk about this. So we spent a little bit more time on the front end because it was at the beginning of a semester and because we can't observe those skills. And then I spent some time and took some of the pre-thinking, the pre-activities that are listed in the curriculum, and because that would be a lot of text, I did a brief audio clip. You could certainly do audio or video. You could do it in a presentation format if you wanted. I didn't want it to look like my lecture. So I did an audio clip where I basically talked like this to them, and like I do to my on-campus students, and said, this is what we're going to talk about today, and this is the format. These are some of the things we're going to go into, and this is why I think it's important. So I did that introductory in an audio clip to get us on the same page. Then for the question part, where there's multiple questions under each theme, I picked the ones that I felt most relevant to our topic for that week in the theme that all went together. And I grouped about 3 to 4 of them under one question heading. And I did that for 2 separate question headings. So I had a group here and a group here. Each student did the audio clip, they watched a few of the videos that were connected, and then they looked at the questions. Out of that little grouping, they could then either do one summary response, or they could pick the question out of there that kind of resonated with them the most. And then that's what they would post. They would do that for both sets of the questions. So what that allowed is each group could kind of take that topic and take it where it was fitting for each of them, because each small group develops their own personality. They have their own thing they want to talk about. So it gave them a little bit of ownership and flexibility within a structure I had preset. So they post to the first group, they post to the second group of questions, then they go back during the week and they post some comment question to appear, to simulate that on-campus dialogue. And one of the strengths of the online, or several of the strengths that students have actually told me, is they really preferred having the dialogue online. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. I think our students of today are very digitally friendly. They are comfortable posting and sharing thoughts in that manner. Some people have said, well, it's too removed, and they'll say things they would never say in person, and that may be true, but I have yet to have a student who hasn't followed the ground rules. I had one who, a student really took the question and her comment kind of negatively, and she so skillfully practiced what we had told them. She wrote back and said, would you please rephrase this question, because I'm not sure I understood what you were wanting to know. And then she followed up and said, this is how I heard it. And both students had the chance to fix that, and it went very professionally, and that was the skill I could then affirm both of them. So we have these 2 conversations going on. They post comments back and forth. And the other thing I find students like is they like the time to reflect. In a classroom, you always have the students who raise their hand immediately and want to share right away, and they dominate. They don't necessarily mean to, but they do. And then you have the students who will go the entire semester, and if they are not specifically called on and they don't speak out loud, they're fine with that. In the online forum, it truly gives everybody a voice because they're required to have a voice. And so every person has as much time within that week as they need to ponder and reflect and post a comment and edit it if they want, but every single person engages not only initially, but also with a peer. So I've had many students tell me that they actually preferred, and they were glad we had that portion, the dialogue portion online, because it gave them that chance for deeper reflection and sharing. And it was really interesting as that group dynamic builds over the semester how much deeper those reflections and what they share become.